Imagine this: a dictator who ruled for nearly a quarter of a century, feared by millions, suddenly finds himself standing on a balcony while his people turn against him, live on television. The cheers are fake, the fear is real, and in just days, the most powerful man in Romania will be executed while the world watches. This is the shocking story of Nicolae Ceaușescu, the dictator Romania tried to forget. It's December 1989, Palace Square, Bucharest. The air is freezing, but over 50,000 people have been dragged here. Students pulled from schools, workers forced from their jobs. Many have stood for hours in the cold, waiting for one man, Nicolae Ceaușescu. For 24 years, Ceaușescu ruled Romania with an iron hand. He built a personality cult that rivaled Stalin's, drained the nation with grand projects, and let his people starve, while he and his wife Elena lived in luxury. But just days earlier, something shifted. In Timișoara, a local priest dared to speak out. When the authorities tried to silence him, the people rose up. Ceaușescu sent soldiers. Shots were fired. Protesters fell. But instead of fear, the blood spilled in Timișoara lit a fire. News spread quickly. Revolt was brewing. Ceaușescu's answer: a massive rally in Bucharest, broadcast live on national TV. He would show the world that the people still loved him. At least, that was the plan. Ceaușescu steps out onto the balcony of the Central Committee building. The sound is deafening. Cheers, applause, chants of his name. He smiles. He waves. But something is off. The crowd isn't moving. Thousands stand stiff and silent, their faces blank. Only the front rows clap. The noise? A pre-recorded track blasted from loudspeakers. He begins his speech. At first it seems to work. He thanks organizers. He praises socialism. Then screams cut through the air, not from the speakers, from the crowd. "Someone is shooting," Elena shouts. Guards rush to Ceaușescu. Off camera, protesters smash through barricades, surging toward the building. The cameraman, following secret instructions, tilts the camera toward the sky. Viewers at home see only clouds and rooftops. But in the square, chaos is breaking loose. The dictator and his wife shout down from the balcony, "Stay calm, stay back." But no one listens. "This is a provocation," Ceaușescu mutters, trying to convince himself. His guards manage to push protesters back, but it's too late. The illusion is broken. Still, he continues speaking, promising sudden wage increases and pensions. But when he finishes, the crowd doesn't leave. They're done listening, done obeying. They march through Bucharest, shouting, "Down with Ceaușescu!" For the first time in decades, the spell is broken. Ceaușescu panics. He orders tanks into the streets, soldiers at every corner, snipers on rooftops. His dreaded secret police, the Securitate, are told to crush the uprising, and they do, brutally. Protesters are shot in broad daylight. Barricades are destroyed. By morning, so much blood stains the streets that fire trucks use water cannons to wash it away. Relieved, Ceaușescu turns to Elena. "It's over. Everything is back to normal." But he is wrong. Very wrong. At dawn, something extraordinary happens. New columns of workers march toward the capital. Ceaușescu sends soldiers to stop them, but the soldiers don't fire. Instead, they lower their weapons and join the people. Crowds swell to hundreds of thousands. Chants of freedom echo through the city. The Central Committee building is surrounded. Inside, Ceaușescu calls an emergency meeting, but the noise outside grows louder, closer. With protesters minutes away from storming the offices, he gives a desperate order: "Bring the helicopter." On the rooftop, Nicolae and Elena are carried by bodyguards. Their faces are pale, drained of color. They climb aboard with two officials and lift off, just as the mob breaks through the doors below. The pilot flies north to Ceaușescu's residence in Snagov. Nicolae begs the military for help. None comes. They are on their own. They take off again, heading west toward T2, hoping to find loyal troops. But a radio message cuts in. All flights are grounded. Any aircraft without orders will be shot down. The pilot has no choice. He lands on a roadside near Târgoviște. The mighty dictator now stands stranded with only 2 guards. No motorcade, no army, no power. They stop a passing car, driven by a bicycle mechanic. As they ride, the car radio plays news. The revolution in Bucharest has triumphed. Nicolae and Elena sit in silence, listening as their rule crumbles. The mechanic suggests they hide at an agricultural institute. When they arrive, the director shoves them into a room and locks the door. Local police soon arrive. The dictator and his wife are arrested. They are taken to a military base in Târgoviște. The new government wastes no time. The next day, Ion Iliescu, now head of state, signs an order. An extraordinary military tribunal will be held immediately. The charges: genocide, destroying the economy, stealing billions. The trial is a show lasting just 2 hours. Nicolae laughs at the accusations. He refuses to recognize the court. He calls it illegal. But it doesn't matter. The verdict: guilty. The sentence: death by firing squad. Execution, immediately. Nicolae pleads to die beside Elena. The request is granted. Soldiers bring rope to tie their hands. The couple refuses, shouting they will not run. But the soldiers tie them anyway. Dragged into the courtyard, they face the wall. Elena screams insults. Some say she cries. Nicolae remains calm, humming the anthem of the Internationale. Seconds later, the rifles fire. The very next day, Romanian television broadcasts images of their bodies against the wall. Proof that the Ceaușescus were gone. In May 1990, Romania holds its first free election since 1937. In the years to follow, it joins NATO, enters the European Union, and begins to rebuild. But the world will never forget the dictator whose final moments unfolded before millions of eyes, executed live on TV. The fall of Nicolae and Elena Ceaușescu was shocking, but this is only one story history tried to bury. Here on Whispers of the Past, we uncover the secrets they wanted you to forget. If this story left you stunned, don't stop here. Click the next video and discover the forbidden truths waiting to be revealed.